this car come loud? I honestly don't know. It should be loud, right? It's gonna get loud.
Southwest Lotus Center provided a fully custom exhaust, downpipe, and resonated rear section.
Custom for the S4S. So, you guys were mostly familiar with the fact that I had the V8 Esprit. I still love the V8 Esprit. Many of you know, and were shocked to find that I actually did sell the black and gold car. There's always another V8 Esprit in my life, but that particular one really had intended to never sell the car, but someone came and told me a story. Their father had a Esprit when they were younger, and it just really I had to sell it, so I sold it. If you watch the V8 video, and I recommend that you go back and watch the V8 video, there's something pure and right about the 4-cylinders, and I never had an S4S. I always kind of wanted, you know, the S4S has the Lotus Sport. They had like some, after the Sport 300, they had some of the charge coolers left over from those cars, and there's just a lot of trick bits to the car. And I love the OZ Futuras, and I just kind of had this vision of all the magazine articles that were out when the S4S came out. The Road and Track article, and particularly the European Car Magazine article. Like, I just had always wanted an S4S. So I thought, well, now's the time to try to find an S4S. I actually found one at a Lotus dealer in New York. And it was a pretty nice car overall. They had done a lot of stuff to kind of put it where it needed to be. And drove great, but had the stock exhaust. And if you've ever driven a 4-cylinder on the stock exhaust, and the Sport 300 actually has a slightly better exhaust note but it's just not, it's not good. I had a Larini exhaust on my old S4, but I couldn't find one. So I called my friend James at Southwest Lotus Center, expressed that they had made a few custom for, and he had an S4. And so that's what we did. They made the exhaust, and it took a few weeks, and then it got here. And now we're gonna put it on the car, and I'm very excited because it's, I finally am going to want to drive the car. They also sent me a splitter. They make the later splitters, so I'll put that on later. And I do have a full video of this car coming that's really going to kind of get into and explore the 4-cylinder versus the 8-cylinder, and a little more of the history of Lotus and the history of the engines. And so right now, let's make it go brap. I should also point out, as I come into frame, that this car spent time in California. So not only is it quiet with the muffler, but they had an aftermarket, it didn't pass emissions, so they put an even more catalytic converter on there. How horrible. How horrible. So I should point out we're back at Lucor. Real good guys here. Rich and Austin are my close personal friends. The fun thing about Lucor is that last week they had a Nissan Figaro, a Celica GT4, and a whole bunch of delightful stuff here. This week, it's like there's literally next to us a giant diesel rig. A second-gen Celica Supra. Now is when we remove exhausty things.
Spray these. Just some of that Penafreeze.
I will say this on the video. I'll be honest. So I bought this car from a Lotus dealer because of how purportedly amazing the car was. Now, that being said, I mean, this frame is like new. The body is, I mean, absolutely there's a lot of stuff about this car that is, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one, but there are some things where I'm still a little bit underwhelmed. But we can make it great again. It's gonna be great. And part of the make it great again is the brap.
Cat.
Yeah, horrible. Why? Why cat?
Oh, those are Nylox, which will probably have melted by now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Are you 8 feet tall?
Rich. Oh my God! I told him I was putting it in Tim Neely position.
I'm on my freaking tippy toes, man.
Here, let me bring it down.
So this is why I'm not working on this car.
I see that.
Because I can't reach that.
O2 sensor's a little warm. I bet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sorry.
Man, it's like you just drove it in here and we started taking the exhaust apart.
Hey, I'm here. I just hit 20 pounds of boost.
I hit 20 pounds of boost on the way over. Oh, yep, still
Turn the
warm.
lights off so we can look at the turbo glow.
Oh, yeah.
One of the worst things about these cars, if you're buying a 4-cylinder Esprit, this thing.
It's not much of a heat riser
luckily,
when the plate's been removed.
This one's been modded, but this will cause you all sorts of problems if you buy an Esprit. Chances are this is completely hot. It's very hot, but also that was not a funny joke. But also probably seized shut. I've never had it happen. Actually, I did have it happen on an '89. And companies there used to be a lot more of these cars, and unfortunately they're not a lot now. But they used to make a spacer, actually Larini that I mentioned earlier. They don't make it anymore. So if you get one of these, you have to do that mod where and I would touch it again, but I can't, where you would take it apart so that it was just free. Because what it would do to warm the car up quicker is it would close that. And that sucks. It's bad times because your car makes no power when it's closed. It would freeze closed because it would close every time you turn the car off. It would close to make more heat.
Sure. Restrict the exhaust.
Yeah, really one of the only, like every Esprit that's gonna 4-cylinder that's gonna be an issue. The V8's never had that. How can you guys? Oh my gosh!
You gotta get back in there where there's headroom. You can stand up more. There you go. Now you can get in.
I can do that. So.
Back not hurt as much there.
Oh boy. Rich, that was really hot. You gave it to me so nonchalantly.
Oh my God, that's heavy. Holy cow.
Weight reduction.
Weight reduction. 260, 259, 225,
Wow. That is heavy.
234.
Whoa. Massive weight reduction.
So 9 pounds versus 35 pounds?
9 pounds versus 35 pounds. You call Southwest Lotus Center right now. That's got to be worth at least 28 horsepower. Just kidding, but still. Thank you, Southwest Lotus Center. I predicted that this would come off in moments. Of course, one of the bolts is not
Ow, that's hot.
being friendly. Is cross-threaded?
Well, better cross-threaded than no-threaded, right? I have a feeling once I get it off, there's not going to be any threads on it. Yeah, it's gold.
This looks like... Yeah, that's enough. This is 4 inches, right?
You want that?
No, don't do that. That'd be bad. Don't put that anywhere near me. Burning me.
So that was stuck to that. Hey, your pipe's loose.
Yay.
That's probably,
Oh, well,
considering
it's
I just
sort of forced
torched
it
that
down, okay.
on the bottom side, it's probably really warm. Oh, there you go.
No. How bad is it?
It's not plugged.
Yeah, but it's horrible. That should not be...
Well, it's a cat. It's
If you're gonna have a cat on your car, you should be able to see through it. Well, not all the way through it, but like... Because the cat we're putting on here is slightly less cat-ish, but still very cat. Now you get a great view of the... One thing that always bothered me about that huge suitcase muffler is that now you block the transmission. Now you can see the transmission size. Get a shot of that sexy transmission. Oh, that's just...
that's it. That's where it's at. That locking nut doesn't lock anymore, just so you know.
Get another 5. The other thing about this car is that, I mean, you can see the tubular frame. I still cannot believe, with the F1 wins, just who Colin Chapman was. Every time I think about the Esprit, it blows my mind that this car has not shot up in value. I mean, Colin Chapman, you know, who's Ferruccio Lamborghini? I mean, he was a tractor salesman. I think Lamborghini made a lot of nice cars, but when you think about this car in '95, you know, very few cars, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds with a stock car that was easily tunable, was really fast back then. I know it's not that fast now, but the provenance, the manufacturer, they got a lot of negative press, and I think I said this in the other video, but it's literally like they just didn't have a press department. You know, it truly is a special car. I think it's just as special underneath as any of the Ferraris from the era, and in a lot of ways a lot easier to work on. And in terms of output, these 4-cylinders make a lot of power, and it's a lot cheaper to replace 4 cylinders than 12 when you do a money shift, if you ever do. So that's the tip of the day. So Southwest Lotus Center will make you this exhaust in single exit or twin exit. The 4 cylinders always exited single, so I felt that it was just better to not be a poser and stick with this single exit. How it should sound. Is that not how it should sound? I think that's how it should sound. Thanks for watching. The full video is coming soon. Probably a couple weeks, maybe a month, but it's coming soon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. And check out Lucor Automotive, Lucor Racing. They're great.